Yeah. Tell us real quick. I asked Neil this question when we had him on the show, and I ask anybody that's in a band that puts on a big theatrical production, and of course, you guys are sort of the forefathers of that. What was your biggest Spinal Tap moment on stage with all the props, the guillotine, the snake, all the props and things that are on the Alice Cooper stage back in those days? Surely there was a time when you fell off the stage or ran into something or bumped your head or whatever.
There was a couple of them, and they were linked with the execution. Okay. So the first one obviously was the hanging, right? So one night, and I got my brother. He was one of the roadies on the show, and he's in charge of pulling the right. Glenn does it on stage, but there's really a lever down below, right? Mm-hmm. So we do they march up to the gallows, and Glenn has the hood on and the torches and everything, and Alice is on the gallows, and he put the noose around his neck, and Glenn pulls a trap door, and Alice is still standing there. So Shep starts pulling at his hair and runs over to my brother and goes, "Pull the lever," and he pulls it. Nothing's happening. There's something wrong. And then Alice starts jumping up and down on the gallows like, "I'm going to hang myself." And finally, boom, he did. And wow. It was like we were going, okay, what just happened? And found out one of the mechanisms, what we had to assemble it. Warner Brothers took a stage gallows, like we'd use in a Western, mm-hmm. and broke it up into pieces that you could put in amble cases. There was 4 cases for the guillotine. And somehow in putting it and taking it out, something got askew and it wouldn't release the trap door. So also too, every one of us got hung before Alice did. He was scared of it, right? So that made him jumping up and down even crazier. I'm scared to death. I'm jumping up and down. I want to hang myself. So fast forward to the guillotine. Same sort of thing. We all got guillotined. Alice didn't want to know about it because it looked so real. And Amazing Randy told us that unless you had a camera, your eye didn't react fast enough to see as the guillotine comes down the blade in the grooves on each side. There's a runner this far in front of it. It trips a spring activated thing, and the spring goes boom down in front with where Alice pulls out and puts the head in there. And then Amazing Randy comes up and pulls it back, and it's the dummy head you see. Yeah. So he just said he wasn't going to do it, and we were going, "Oh, come on, Alice, it's easy. Look, I can do it. If I can do it, you can do it." We all tried to romance him, but I guess I don't really know what finally got him on there. Maybe Shep said, "Look, you're going to become Alice B. Toklas if you don't do this," because now you've got to man up, so to speak. So he got on, crawled in there, and Randy had to walk him through how it worked and show him every little stage so there was no surprises. And he finally did it, but it took some teeth pulling. So I think the other not so amazing thing was so we were trying to find something to follow now the beheading, the guillotine. So we're kicking around ideas and we're not coming up with anything. So one of our roadies said, "Hey, Warner Brothers has this big cannon that breaks up into cases. I think they use it for Christmas time, a toy cannon." I don't know what the hell. So we got it out there. So Alice climbs in it. There's a trap door that you don't see. He gets out, and inside is a dummy that looks like Alice. And it's spring-loaded, and the light diffuser goes, and then boom, big boom, sound effect, and the dummy goes flying out, and then Alice is already out in the audience. Pops up, "Hey, look, I got shot out of a cannon." Nobody liked it. Nobody liked it, and it's all our fault. So I got this. I said, "What, Alice? Why don't you get on top of the cannon, sort of, love it to death, stroke it like it's a big penis, And then out of the front was supposed to, in a true orgasmic moment, it was supposed to spray out, sort of like a Gallagher thing when he smashes the watermelon and it sprays on you. That's part of the whole fun of the thing. You get pelted with watermelon seeds. Well, it came out. So he's stroking it and then release the sperm, like it just dribbles out the front and falls down. And I thought, that's not it. We couldn't figure out how to make it spray out because it was so thick to look like Gizmo or whatever.
Yeah.
It was like pancakes or
yeah.
It didn't happen. And so
Neil told us that it made the stage very slippery and dangerous.
yeah, I think we tried it out. We used to always do like
there went our rated. There went our G rating. There went our G rating on our show.
We never had a G rating.
Yeah, we never had a G rating.
So that's when Joe Gannon came from Neil Diamond. He worked for Neil, and he joined us, and they whipped up the King Tut, and the levels of the stage, and that was a pretty amazing stage. There was only one fly in the ointment. On the post in those sort of, I call them the go-go booths, there was 4 poles where I stood in one and Glenn's in the other. And Dennis is somewhere roaming around behind Alice. And there's the King Tut behind Neil and then his drum set. They used real metal, and they were like little shards of razor blades. And you could only get around to down where Alice was by going through this narrow corridor between the drums and the post. And I'd go whipping through there, and all of a sudden, I got cut and I'm bleeding. And now my white jacket's got blood all over it. And that happened a lot. I mean, I got scars to prove it. So, that was from all of that. And I kept saying to the crew, I said, isn't there a way you could if I just had another 6 inches? How about 9, Michael? They make fun of me. No, yeah, 9. Yeah, so it was a joke, and but I didn't give up, and I finally got him in the last probably month of shows that we did with that. I got him to move it, and they said, "No, this is easy." Once I got to the right guy who helped design the stage, he goes, "No, it's easy." The next day it was moved. Hey, I could go by there with, we like the blood, we like you bleeding, and so.
All part of the show.
We had at the end of the tour, Dave Liebert, he did skits of different members of the band and the road crew, and he put a pillow, because I like White Russian, so I was getting a bit of a stomach on me. He put a pillow in there, going, I want you guys to move that stage 1 inch, just 1 inch. Everybody's laughing. By this time, we lost our 707, and now we're flying in a 4-engine crop duster or something. But we finished the tour, and our parents actually went to the last show we did in Tucson, and it was pretty interesting. That's when everything went wrong for Glenn, broke a string, and he didn't have a good night, and his parents got sick on the plane, and my parents just drove that because they didn't like flying. So it was a rough night, but we finished the tour, and that's when things got really interesting after Billion Dollar Babies. We had a great moment at the end of towards the end of the tour in I think it was Rhode Island. We came out, and it was all the water. It rained the night before, was now ice, and it was gleaming like a fairyland of icicles and stuff like that. And we did Hard Day's Night with the Turtles, and it was like really had the feel of the whole thing. They had great singers, and it was nice. It was great. I wanted to put it on the next album. I thought it was so good.